Can you hear it pretty well? Hello, welcome to Shaolin Kung Fu 101. My name is RachelAnne Kersh, and I will be an instructor today. Going into a brief history on Kung Fu. It is a martial art that originated in India and was brought to the Shaolin Monastery of China in the late 5th or early 6th century. Many styles of Kung Fu have branched out from the Shaolin Kung Fu. However, the saying goes, the Shaolin Kung Fu is the foremost martial art beneath heaven. The idea of Kung Fu is like a skyscraper base. It takes a very strong foundation for such a large building to be built. And so you want to make sure that the foundation is the strongest part of your practice. It takes a lot of humility because the more difficult the Kung Fu is, the higher up the level it is in. That being said, needing the firm base, you got to just be really humble when practicing and get down the foundation basic skills. Otherwise, you're not going to have the strength or the steadiness to complete the harder moves. So today we're just going to focus on some of those core stances. The meaning of Kung actually means work and power, and the Fu part means husband. So good Kung Fu lies in hard working, studying. You could never process good Kung Fu just by imagining and thinking. It is in the accumulation of study of the basic skills that you will master your Kung Fu. The meaning and purpose in learning Shaolin Kung Fu is to have a complete program of personal development from the most basic to the most advanced levels. At the physical level, Shaolin Kung Fu provides health, fitness, agility, and vitality, besides the ability to defend ourselves. That's pretty cool. At an emotional level, Shaolin Kung Fu delivers joy and tranquility. It trains us to be mentally focused and enables us to expand our mind. At its highest level, Shaolin Kung Fu leads to spiritual fulfillment, irrespective of religion. Not just a fighting art. In fact, the Buddhist monks of the Shaolin Monastery believed that Kung Fu was the highest form of nonviolence. Training Kung Fu was to be used only for maintaining peace. The most important aspect of Kung Fu is direct experience. A Shaolin disciple does not merely talk of good health and mind expansion or just read up on spirituality, but actually experiences these benefits. If the benefits are not experienced, you must go back to the first level and seriously review your training. Okay, so by entering this space, I want to open with just a couple of breaths. I want you to just come into your body and feel your senses and just come into a firm space of grounding. So we're going to take 3 deep inhales in, 3 deep inhales out, and hopefully this just helps center us so that as we begin the stances, we're properly warmed up. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a second. I want you to exhale with a gush of wind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. I hope you were able to stretch and warm up a little bit. If not, the stances may feel a little tight, but they in themselves will get you stretched out. The first stance we're going to do today is called bow stance. It's very much like warrior 1 if you do yoga. And so I want you to just focus on keeping your legs strong. And we're going to keep our hands akimbo, which means just by your side, your elbows out. We're going to start on the right side, picking up the leg, come down into bow stance. The toes are angled a little bit in towards each other. Strong legs, keep your knee over your foot. We're going to switch over to our left side. keep your breathing fluid and open and your leg is strong. We're gonna lift up our right leg, twist it over. One more time. And now we're gonna add in some hands. So as we sweep our hand around, you would strike your left hand. If your right foot is forward, bring your hand over as you cross your leg and strike with the other hand. Your hand traditionally is going to stay a little bit over your knee. It might cross over if you have long arms like me. Just do a couple of these. And the idea is to keep your motions fluid and strong, becoming more aware of yourself. If you want to make it a little harder, you can lift up your feet. All right. And that's bow stance. So our next stance that we're going to practice on is really going to work on your legs and get them to be strong enough so that you have some athletic, strong, grounded legs for your Kung Fu. To get into horse stance, you get your feet together. We're going to come out in the 3 lengths. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to sit down like you're sitting on a horse. Your legs, you want to keep pretty parallel to the ground as much as you can. And keep your body upright. Put your hands in prayer position. And we're going to focus on our breathing. Keep your knees out as much as possible. Give you a side angle view that you can see. I want you to stay in horse position. We've got to warm up our legs. You're going to feel the fire. Just if you need help, put your hands on your legs. If you can keep your legs strong without the hands, you can try either prayer position or put your arms up here. In the traditional practice, the monks would start putting up to 5 bowls balanced on different parts of the body, full of water. And they were not supposed to spill any of that water. All right, by now you can probably feel the fire. If this helps to kind of stretch it out. It does kind of take away from some of the strength in your legs. So if you can help it, I want you to keep your arms off of your legs. Just a couple more breaths here. Sit down further. One more breath. All right, now release. Come up. Stretch your legs out a little bit if you feel that fire. All right. I'm going to do just a couple of those bow. Just kind of stretch your legs out again. Notice how you can feel the strength in your legs after that horse stance. And try to deepen down into your pose. All right. Our next stance we're going to work on today is called the crouch stance. This one takes some work into it. I just want you to take it slow so that you don't injure yourself. But also trust the muscle stacking that is going to happen here. And crouch stance, if I can get it all in the shot, you are going to keep both of your feet facing forward and make sure to be placing weight. Keep your legs straight, place a little bit of your weight on your stretched foot, and keep this centered foot flat on the ground. Try to keep off your toes because you're really just allowing for a strong stance. And once you've settled down in here, if you can, get your hands on your feet or your ankles if you can't reach that far. And we're just kind of gonna stretch it. Keep your head and body forward as much as possible into the stretch. And remember to breathe. And then switching over, you just kind of push your leg up and come down to the other side. So first, come into the position. Make sure your feet are both facing forward. This left leg is straight. Your full weight, or most of your weight, is on your right foot, and your foot is flat on the ground. Get your arm onto your feet. This arm above this leg is going to be in front of your knee, like so. Now, start to just stretch into the crouch stance. Switch sides. Switch sides. Switch sides. You'll start to feel the stretch in your inner thigh. Your legs strong. All right. Now, coming in the crouch stance from standing. Come up. Come back up. If you want to add a motion into this one, we're going to have a sweeping arm that chops at, it's for chopping at your opponent's legs, basically. We're going to sweep the leg, come up, and sweep the leg. A couple of these. Keep your feet flat on the ground to be strong. Don't forget to breathe. We're going to finish just a couple more bounces to open our legs up and work on our flexibility. Switch. And one more switch. All right. The crouch stance. The next stance we're going to work on is called empty stance. And this one is going to be relatively easier than the crouch stance. We're going to keep our left foot planted on the ground, and our right foot is going to come slightly out in front of our left. And we're going to put our hands into prayer position and place our weight back. And then to switch, just come forward. If you don't want to do prayer, or you want to practice kind of more of a defensive stance, you can put your hands into cross and switch. Switch. You can see in these poses why it's so important to have the ability to hold a strong horse pose. Just have a strong Kung Fu practice. You need that strong base to work on. And if you don't have that, go back to the beginning and keep working on it until you're strong enough to move forward in your Kung Fu. Many people still go to the Shaolin monastery to train, and maybe one day I'll get to, but there are people all over the world who practice Shaolin Kung Fu. It's your daily practice, your daily hard work. It's your husband, married to it. Make it happen. Okay, and the blocking move for this one is placing your fist down. You're protecting your head. And as it comes around, swing your arms back around. I do always actually struggle with the arms, so bear with me on that. Come back and empty. We're gonna do a couple more of these. Just be blocking from the front, the side. All right. So now we're just gonna kind of stretch out our legs a little bit because we've been doing a lot, especially around our calves and our ankles. So we're just gonna do just a simple forward fold. Help you stretch out the backs of your legs. Take a deep breath in. And then on your exhale, sink down a little further, practicing your flexibility. Keep your legs straight. Your tailbone is going to be tucked a little bit under. Okay. The next pose we're going to practice is called rest pose. And to just kind of warm up our legs for this pose, I want you to cross your legs and do a forward fold. Cross them over, do another forward fold. Okay. And the rest pose, we're going to place our foot back, and we're going to sit steadily, putting your buttocks on your back leg. And our hands are in prayer position. Place weight equally on your feet to press up. You can cross your leg over, and we're going to sit on the opposite back leg. The rest stance is definitely one of those positions that might look a little bit easier than it is, when in fact the average person has a hard time with sit stance. You have to have open hips and strong legs. And again, if you can't do this pose, then just start back with bow and horse. Move into crouching stance and work on your empty stance to build the leg strength it takes to get to rest stance. Okay. And if you want to keep your hands out of kimbo and come into sit stance, just to help you work on your balance a little bit. We're going to do a couple more of these, and then we're going to head into what's called sitting stance, which is an advanced form of rest stance. So if you're having a hard time with rest stance, then I want you to keep practicing rest stance before moving to sit stance. And if you're struggling with rest stance, again, just keep practicing bow, horse, and crouch stance. All right, so different from rest stance. Sitting stance does not sit on the back of your leg. You sink down and actually sit down on the ground. And to come out of sit stance, you must have those strong legs. Both of your feet are going to be pointing forwards. Your front leg is going to be flat on the ground. We'll have prayer hands here. Sitting stance is very good for opening up your hips while keeping your legs strong and engaged. It's also going to work a little bit on the flexibility of your hamstrings. When switching feet, just cross your leg over. Okay. Again, like I said, that one might look easier than it is. And they say that if you don't have Kung Fu, you can't accomplish sitting pose, sitting stance. So, okay. Now I'm going to take you back through all of these poses. So I think this is the general base foundation of Kung Fu, where if you get these poses done, it's really, really going to build your practice. It's going to give you strength and poise to move forward in absolutely anything you do. A further history of Kung Fu that progressed through different Kung Fu movies over the years is everyone brought their own style to Kung Fu and created their own actual style of Kung Fu. So whether you're a yogi or a slackliner or an actor or a paddleboarder, you can find ways to incorporate these into your movements. And as you build your practice, you can personalize it and find ways to play with it, to wrap yourself around it and add your own style into it. So we're going to go back into bow pose. Really sinking into this stance. Lift our leg up, twist around, come into the other side. Come up, next side. And we're going to add our hands into it. So with your opposite leg as the one's forward, or opposite hand as your leg that is forward, sweep around. Lift and sweep. Lift and sweep. Keep your feet firmly planted, because if you were fighting, having strong feet, being able to stay with your weight is what is going to allow you to have control over your movements. You're going to do another round in horse stance. So again, just get your feet centered. We're come on 1, 2, 3. And really sit down into horse. Keep your breathing steady. you want to try backwards prayer, that might remind you to keep your back straight. Or you can just simply place your hands on your elbows, making sure to keep your knees back. Three breaths here. We're really going to work on a fire in our legs. Focus on keeping still. Try not to shake. Second breath. And last inhale. Exhale. Gently lift out. Stretch out your legs. Maybe kind of pick them up. Kick the backs of kick your butt with your feet. Kind of shake it out. I'm going to come back into crouch stance, and I'm going to go from a sideways angle this time, in case that's a better view. I'm going to go into right crouch stance first. Lift your head and body forward as you bounce into your crouch stance. Lift up, come over to the other side, and bounce. Switch and bounce. Switch and bounce. And we're going to lift up and sweep. Up and sweep. Up and sweep. Be sure to listen to your ankles on this one. And just listen to your body. Make sure that all the movements you're doing feel good and strong. If they don't feel strong, just take it very slow and ease in and out of each pose. All right, gonna go back into empty pose for a minute. Place your weight on your left foot, bring your right foot forward, and guard with your hands. We're gonna be really sitting back on our weight, similar to horse, keeping your body aligned with itself. If you're a slackliner, these poses are really going to help with keeping your energy solid so that your movements are controlled and strong. I really do believe Kung Fu is one of the best forms of training in terms of daily practice. Switch. Switch. If you want to try the block. All right, now we're going to do one more round of rest stance and sitting stance, and then we're going to take ourselves through a cool down. So again, rest stance, you're going to place your back foot behind, and here, let me move back so you can see. Place your foot behind, and sit on your back leg, your buttocks making contact with your leg. Keep your arms akimbo and step up, cross your legs over. Step up, cross your legs over. Up, down. Stand and sit strong and steadily. Try to take the shaking out of your movements. If you need to rest or go back to bow pose, bow, horse, crouch, and empty stance are going to really build the leg strength for your rest and sitting stance. We're going to do a couple more of these before heading back into sitting stance. Switch. 2 more. 1 and 2. All right, now that you're warmed up, we're going to go back into sitting stance. Just cross your leg over and come all the way down. Stand up, cross over, keep your feet facing forward. Come down. By keeping your hands akimbo or up in prayer, you're really learning how to trust how you place your weight down into your feet. Cross your leg over and sit back down. I don't recommend it, but if you need help getting up, lean your weight forward, place your fingers splayed on the ground, lean a little bit forward, get your weight on your feet and train your legs how to do the motion themselves. Keep it up. You'll start to feel this in your hips as your hips start to open. Your knees essentially are never going very far over your toes. You're pushing your weight through your center. Finding your core balance and strength. Remember, it takes time to build a skyscraper. If you really want to become a Kung Fu master, as I do, I'm not a Kung Fu master quite yet, but if you want to become a master with me, let's really work on our foundations. I'm going to do a couple more of these. Two more. 1 and 2. Now from here, just release your legs. Bring your feet to the center. Kind of get your legs stretched out. We're going to start the cool down now. And I really hope that even just these stances and practices are already helping you feel more grounded and strong. And if you're not feeling grounded and strong, I hope it drew attention to the fundamentals that you can work on to build up that strength. Okay. And after you've kind of stretched your legs out, just get in a comfortable seated position. And I want you to close your eyes. Focus vaguely on your breathing, allowing the natural pattern of your breath to flow through. Now that you're focused on your body and your ability to find your center, keep that awareness while also listening to what's around you. Maybe listen to the way that your breath echoes off of the walls and the chairs and the surroundings around you as you inhale and exhale. If you're outside, like me, you might be able to hear the wind and feel it brush against your body. Hear the birds. and the bugs and animals around. Feeling your weight sinking down into the earth. Feeling all of these elements and just being hyper aware of all of your surroundings. Again, an important aspect of Kung Fu is direct experience. You can't just think about the things, but be in them, experiencing them, direct experience. Inhale, exhale. Now we're going to just do a simple closing exercise. Bring your arms over your head, sweep them across and down in a circle. We're practicing keeping a balanced flow. Keep the movement very steady. Your breath is calm and fluid. Now we're going to switch directions. Really elongate and stretch. See how much you can get out of this. I wouldn't call this exactly a Kung Fu move, but we want to keep a strong, fluid motion. And if you want to practice awareness in your Kung Fu, it can be absolutely in anything. Just pay attention to how each motion links into the next one. Each transition is a beautiful dance with yourself and with the world around you. Just play around, practice your stances, and find yourself in your body. Find yourself in control. You're the one in the driver's seat. Only you can master yourself. No one can actually tell you how to live these things because it's only the direct experience of you actually doing it, practicing what you preach, and hitting the mat every single day. The mat, you don't even necessarily need a mat, as you can see. We did this all with just our bodies and comfortable clothes. Stay hydrated so that your muscles have the flexibility that they need. And just, I don't know, I hope you're eating food that's giving you energy and creating a body that's able to remember to hit the mat. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of getting a little bit preachy now, but thank you so much for joining me in Kung Fu 101. I hope that you found something. What was that, Michelle?
I said thank you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
Awesome. We have less than a minute left, so I'm going to cut you off there. If anybody has any questions, they can message you directly.
Okay.
I will post this on YouTube and check out the other one-on-one series that are coming up next week, and everything posted on YouTube as well when you go look at RachelAnne's. All right. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Bye.